Hello and welcome to Mothering Unedited. I am Sarah Grace Knutson.
And I am Leanne Hulick-Reyes.
And I am Carmen Wist. And we are bringing you real and raw conversations that honor the mess and the magic of motherhood.
From our radically authentic hearts, we share and discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly about the things that mothers need to talk about most.
To be heard, to be supported, and to be uplifted through authentic, vulnerable connection, so we may all rise together in our motherhood journey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 10 of Mothering Unedited. We are so happy to be back together after a bit of a pause and excited to get started. We don't have a topic today, which I think we've kind of decided is what works for us. We love to just start talking and then a topic emerges as we're talking. And today we're actually going to choose an intention word while we're on here so that we can have an intention for our podcast today. And I think Sarah has the list up. Sarah, would you like to choose the word?
Well, we chose individual ones. Do you want to share those first and then pick one for the whole day?
Oh, sure. I was going to ask that after, but I can ask that now.
Right.
Yes. So I chose an individual word for today, and my word was inspired. Leanne?
My word today is rich. So probably not riches in material, but let's say abundance or like richness in my life in the non-material world.
Yeah.
And mine today is honoring, which is already very beautiful. And yes, I will pull up for anybody who's actually watching, I have a poster here that has 999 super high vibe words on it. And I'm just going to holistic.
Ooh.
Holistic. Wow. I love those words. I am going to see if I can come up with a nice sentence. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll see. We'll see how the sentence goes.
Yeah, maybe we all want to take
Maybe we all want to do a sentence.
Let's all take a
That's what I was
stab at it.
wondering.
Okay, perfect.
So we are meeting here today to feel inspired inspired in an honoring way with a rich podcast full and holistically minded. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's my sense.
Breathe it in. Breathe it in.
You want to go, Leanne, or me?
I'll go.
Okay.
We come together today. Honoring ourselves and the journey of motherhood that inspires us and also challenges us to look at the richness that actually is in our life in a holistic way and look at mothering as holistic as well.
Beautiful. Breathe it in. May we come together today to honor the holistic journey of motherhood in a rich and inspired way.
Wonderful. Wow.
Oh, I got the tingles.
Yeah, love the tingles. I think that was a beautiful suggestion, Leanne, to have an intention for the podcast today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad we did that. And anyone can pick their word for the day. And if you pick two, you can always like interweave these words just as we did, and it's actually really uplifting. So,
And let's talk for a second about the benefit of picking a word like that every day. What does it do for our brains?
Definitely. I mean, as you mentioned when you were choosing the word, it's a list, a poster of 999 high vibes words is exactly what you said. So, I believe that one of the major things it does is increase vibration, and it helps us notice when that happens in our life.
Yeah, it's really interesting how the words we choose in any given sentence really shape the way the sentence feels as we speak it and as we sort of speak its life into our lives. And I'm thinking of just moments where somebody says, "Oh yeah, I'm working really hard on that." Like it might be about some personal development or something that they're moving through, and they may be doing it with all kinds of conscious intention. But then the words that come out are, "I'm working really hard on that right now." And then often not that I want to be running around in the world correcting everybody's sentences, but it's really like, what if we take out the word hard? What if we take out the word working? I'm moving through that right now can be just as um, it can have the same ultimate meaning, except it has more forward motion. It doesn't feel heavy. And so when we choose words like we just did and weave them into our mind and our consciousness, then we'll start to actually align with the things in our whole day that are of that vibration and that feeling instead of whatever else might have just been like our unconscious baseline. And the word will show up. So I'm so excited to see how honoring, rich, inspired, and holistic show up for us today.
Definitely. I think what you said was really, oh, sorry, Leanne. Did you want to? I was going to say, I think what you said is really important. And I also think that we need to remember when we're just starting or practicing in that, um, even if words come out that aren't in line with how we feel, that correcting them doesn't have to mean, um, feeling down on ourselves about using them in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's never about perfection. I heard the most amazing perspective on perfection. It was in a channeled message, a lady that I watch on YouTube named Ann Tucker, and she channels the angelic realm, and she also channels somebody called the Mother of Creation. And a message was coming through from the Mother of Creation about perfection. And the message basically was like, can you just stop, all you beautiful, lovely, adorable humans reaching for perfection? Because if perfection existed, there would be no reason for this journey. If we were already in a state of perfection, then we wouldn't be here. And we're not even here to attain perfection. We're here to move through all the things that are not perfection. So we can just stop expecting it of ourselves and all the sneaky ways that it comes in. And that message I found super freeing because I know that I have sneaky perfectionism that pops up from deep in my subconscious. And I'm definitely on a journey of noticing all of the places where it sneaks in and just being like, oh, there it is there. Okay. And without judgment, but with the words, if I notice that I said something in a way that maybe wasn't the most supportive way to say it, just say it again. Just say it again. And whatever we say last is the thing that will stick. Yeah.
I also wanted to add another example. Thank you, Sarah, for working really hard because I'm more aware of myself now and I choose different words. Another example is that I have had a cold this week. And so, you know, I have said different phrases. I'm super sick.
Mhm.
And then I said, I'm moving through this cold. So that's a little bit better.
Mhm.
And then the best one that I've heard so far is that I'm clearing out the ick. I'm clearing out the ick. So this is a good time for me to give my body time to rest. So it's beliefs and physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual stuff that no longer serves me. And I do want to purge and get rid of and make space for the new. So when I'm so busy, then I do not give myself the opportunity to do that work. So my body was telling me, stop and rest and let's change and evolve. So that's another example that I wanted to share.
Yeah, actually, interestingly enough, when we talk in belief or patterning, a lot of times when we're talking about the unsupportive feeling or the ick, we actually say, what is that pointing to me towards? And that's a perfect example of that, is your body pointing you towards needing rest.
Thank you, Carmen, for clarifying that. I also, as you were speaking about, we're not here to attain the perfection, that really does apply to our parenting journey. So if when I finally decided it's okay that I didn't know how to do this parenting with my daughter, that's when I started to relax. And it's also very important for our children to see that we're not perfect. I think we may have talked about this, but I don't think we can talk about it enough. So as I let go of my perfection and I was more with ease at myself, then I was able to give her more ease and get rid of this expectations from her, because that is really hard on our children, and it can also paralyze them in trying for the fear of not being perfect.
Yes. Actually, this leads right into something I wanted to bring up today. My mom and I, we went out shopping together yesterday. My mom doesn't live in the city where I live, so it was really nice to be able to go out shopping with her. And we were chatting. We were chatting about kids and, when she had kids. I mean, she still has kids, obviously, but like when we were younger, and now me having kids. And I was saying to her, yeah, time goes so quickly, because we were talking about somebody being this age and, oh, where does the time go? Time goes so quickly. And I said, yeah, so many people are like, love every moment, enjoy every moment, you know, every moment. And I feel like that's unrealistic to the point of perfection. And as long as there are moments we enjoy, that's what's going to come out when we look back. We will, I'm sure we will remember some of the times that aren't enjoyable, but as long as we have those moments we enjoy, that's what we'll remember.
That's really beautiful. And I fully agree. And there's a slight tweak that I want to make of just instead of saying enjoy every moment, which, as you said, is unrealistic, and it's clearly unrealistic because we're not going to enjoy every moment. But what if we actually embrace every moment instead,
Mm,
including the ones that don't feel like joy?
yeah,
And if we embrace every moment and we recognize that all of the moments, whether it's joy, whether it's sorrow, whether it's difficulty that we're working through together, that they all matter.
yeah,
So enjoying every moment may be unrealistic, but embracing every moment, I feel, deepens the journey. Because if
and
we're in resistance to the ones that feel icky, well, this is what my chapter was about in Be Light to Raise Light, which I haven't talked about yet today. So I guess this is a good segue. My book launched. My chapter in Be Light to Raise Light is about leaning in to even things like grief and sorrow, because if we try to cut ourselves off from any emotion, even the most grueling, difficult, sorrowful ones, we're cutting ourselves off in general, and that's also going to cut us off from the joy and the highlights and the magic. And so my chapter is really about opening to every single experience that life and parenting has for us. So embrace all of it. And so just quickly, details. Be Light to Raise Light is a book that I have contributed a chapter to, and it's really awakened mothers awakening the world. It's a call to really stand in our light as mothers and model that for our children and model that for the whole world by raising conscious beings. And it's 19 stories of basically the unspoken truths of motherhood and how we are all navigating those things with grace and light so that we can model it for our children. And I'll drop the link, but you can also just look up Be Light to Raise Light on Amazon. It's available in all formats. And that's as much as I'll do to plug it right now, but it was a good moment to mention it.
Thank you, Sarah. That's awesome. I'm happy for you that you were part of that collaboration. I just wanted to add one more little thing before we go maybe in a different direction, is that like the perfection, we're not here, you said, to attain the perfection. We're here to learn and grow. So as we embrace those moments, then that's when the learning and growing happens. And that's why we are here. So um that's my perspective in looking at all these difficult and fun and moments and interweaving them. And when the difficult moment happens again, then if I can respond differently, it's like, congratulations, mama. so that's it's beautiful to see my visible evidence. And I think that we should also be open to seeing our visible evidence because we don't give ourselves enough credit.
Giving ourselves credit where credit is due is huge, because let's actually just take a moment. And I want all of us and all of our listeners to just think for a moment about how many hats we're wearing. So let's just pause. I'll give everybody a second. How many hats are you wearing in your life right now? And now take a moment to say, wow, that's a lot. And not from like oh, I'm carrying so much place, but just like, whoa, look at me. Look at what I can do. And now let's take a moment to ask ourselves, how are we being as we do all that? Because it can feel like a lot. But are we giving ourselves credit? Are we acknowledging our monumental moments of success and accomplishment? Are we really letting the beautiful moments where we nail it, like where we just absolutely are wonderful with our kids, with our partners, in our lives, in our work? Are we really letting those land and saying, oh, I'm good at this? Where are we putting our focus as we wear all these hats? So just everybody speak with me now. Repeat after me. I'm going to say one statement. I'm pretty kick-ass.
I am pretty kick-ass.
Thanks for playing.
And as we acknowledge ourselves and pause to acknowledge ourselves, I think that that really helps us to continue to go through a lot that we're making happen in one day. So that I think that's a beautiful little nugget of encouraging ourselves and recognizing ourselves in the credit and the acknowledgement. It's the pausing.
I love that. It's so important. It's such a great reminder, for sure. Thank you.
There's one other piece that wants to pop in on that, and that is that the tendency, okay, I need to preface this with a little bit of context. starting in January, I started a shadow work journey. Um, Basically, I wanted to see all of the blind spots that I may be carrying that have been holding me back in any way, whether it's in my parenting life, in my coaching, I mean, I feel like I'm always doing really awesome in actual sessions, but in the rest of the reality of coaching, um, attracting clients, being online, all of the marketing, all of that kind of stuff, visibility. I wanted to see all the blind spots that have been challenging me to really thrive and balance. I know I've spoken multiple times on this podcast about uh, being able to balance the work and the mothering at the same time and not feeling like I'm yo-yoing between the two or spinning plates. And anyway, the shadow work journey has led me to understand, I'm halfway through it right now, that almost everything I'm still carrying didn't come from this lifetime, and that it's ancestral, and that it's templates of difficulty and programming that has been like imprints on the DNA that have come down epigenetically through either of my lines. So most of what I'm moving through has been from the maternal line. And as I've been moving through each of these shadow pieces and integrating and clearing and really just loving on all of them and bringing them home into a place of love instead of martyrdom, instead of the hypervigilance and overfunctioning. All of these things that we carry as mothers, they don't even necessarily come from our own lives. And it's not even necessarily programs that we learned behaviorally through observing our parents. It's cellular. And understanding that for me has actually made it so much easier to start working with it because I've stopped looking for its source. Just knowing it's ancestral. Sometimes I might be like, is it paternal ancestral? Is it maternal? But it ultimately doesn't matter. I'll have something come forward and I might suddenly see a blip in my mind's eye of my mother's mother and just be like, oh, that's actually hers. And probably from her mother and mother and mother before. But just knowing that has allowed me to just be like, oh, actually, this is way easier for me to just put down and say, this doesn't apply to me anymore. I'm letting it go on behalf of myself, on behalf of all my lineage before me, and of course, for my daughters and my children and all of their children. And I just wanted to bring that piece through that the hypervigilance, the scanning for threats, the what do I need to be mama bear about, the overfunctioning, the I need to do this all myself, the nobody ever gives me credit for the things I'm doing, all of those things, they're not ours. And I feel like I can say that across all of us. Some of it might be stuff that, we learned or came from trauma, but ultimately, the experiences that we've had in our lives are mirrors of what we were already carrying in ourselves. And we can make a conscious choice and talk to ourselves, and this does work. And the belief repatterning work that we do is one of the most powerful ways I know to do it. There are others. That as these things come up, we can consciously set them down and say, this doesn't need to come any further. It's still a daily thing because I see it come up. I see each of these things come up and I go, oh, there it is there. Like I was talking about with the perfectionism. There it is in that part of my life. Oh, how interesting. And as you said earlier, Carmen, just not getting down on myself and being like, oh, there it is again. But just no, more like out of curiosity, like, oh, look at it. Look at it. It showed up right there. And just have some fun with it, even though not all of it is fun. that really just wanted to come through the ancestral piece. I think it's time that we all start looking at that, because there's a whole lot out in the world of healing our trauma and healing our nervous systems. But our nervous systems are the way they are because our ancestors had to be in survival. And that acknowledgement is, I think, a very integral piece of actually moving forward from the place we all are at right now.
And how freeing is that? How freeing is it to know that it's not all our fault? Like, not that there's a fault, like that's not what I'm saying, but sometimes we can get into that feeling and it's not us, it's environment. Like you
Exactly.
said, it's not
Um,
even their fault.
I'm really happy you just used the word fault, though, because it just reminded me of something that I've wanted to say as well. I had a friend who shared with me something about, what was it? Babies who were in utero of a mother who was under an extreme amount of stress and had a lot of stress hormones in her body during the pregnancy, that those babies tend to cut teeth earlier, which is just, for me, a really interesting fact. But she then said, as if we needed another thing to feel bad about. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Are you telling me you feel bad about the fact that your life was stressful while you were pregnant? Because that's not on you. The amount of stress hormones that are in your body, that's not on you. It doesn't mean you failed at being calm. And so, again, there's an invitation here to, where are all the places where I'm taking responsibility and feeling like a failure because of the things that go on in my environment? We all came in here with genetics that wire us for survival, and that includes stress hormones, and that's not our fault. Can we take accountability to unravel that and step into a more peaceful way of being? Yes, but any time that you didn't manage to do that before this point, that's not a failure. It's not at all, and it's not your fault.
Even any time that it might happen in the future that
Yeah, of
you
course.
don't like. I, again, I'm not perfect. I don't I don't remember my high vibe words all of the time. I still get into those moments that aren't as supportive, and they're pointing me towards what I really want as well. So, yeah.
Hmm. So holistic.
Holistic. Um, yeah, I don't think we talk enough about that part where we feel fault and blame, and I might have done something
The
with
mom guilt.
the mom guilt. Yeah. I don't know how to talk about that, but it just lives in us.
Well, that's what I was talking about. It's cellular. It just lives in us. But I forgive myself for believing it has to live in us any longer.
Yeah.
I give
And
myself permission to embrace a way of walking through this world without guilt.
I give myself permission to recognize I don't know how to do this mothering today because I haven't done it before because everything is new today.
Mhm.
hmm
I
hmm
can choose to beat myself up or I can choose to walk alongside my daughter. I cannot do both at the same time. So
Ah,
I choose to walk alongside my daughter and let her guide me.
Yes.
yes.
Breathe it in.
I love that you said that, Leanne. Sarah, your statements were beautiful and a little too big for me.
Okay. I don't even remember what I said.
Something about letting go of the guilt forever. I was just like,
Did I
whoa.
say forever?
You probably didn't. That's how I took it.
Okay.
That's
Okay. 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 So I forgive myself for believing it has to feel big.
Yeah.
What it? The guilt or life?
Um,
Moving forward without guilt.
yeah,
Okay,
that's the part.
okay, so let's go slow because I think this will benefit lots of mamas.
Of course.
Let's start again.
I'm so spacey. I don't know what I said.
Do you want to try one on, Carmen?
Okay. Um, I forgive myself for believing I have to feel mom guilt. I forgive myself for believing mom guilt has to live in my life.
Okay, pause and breathe it in. I would like to add one.
Yes.
I forgive myself for believing, and that if anyone has ever told me that I'm supposed to be perfect as a mother.
Oh,
I give myself permission to move forward in ways that feel realistic and doable to my system. I'm going to grab us a word.
okay. So I'm thinking of can I tell you guys a little story? And then maybe it can be something to move forward with. Um, I go out and do things sometimes as a mom. I go out into the world by myself. I don't know that there have been many times, there have been some, but I would say probably 80% of the time I leave the house, even now that my kids are a bit older and it's not babies that my husband is taking care of at home. I feel guilty for doing it. And sometimes I come home and I can see frustration on his face, and sometimes I come home and he's like, "Why would you feel guilty? You need to do these things." But that's going to be everyone. Everyone is going to have easier moments and trickier moments.
And it's not our responsibility as mothers to manage that for our partners or whoever else our children are with. And it's not our responsibility as mothers even to make sure that our children never have to deal with somebody else's frustration.
Oh, that's a good point.
Mm.
That's a good point.
So, you know how right before we started this call today, I messaged you guys and said I'll be a few minutes late getting started because my partner had a big feeling come up and I was about to leave a baby with him. And so as I came down the stairs, I looked at his face and it was just this like wave of sadness washing through him. And I had no idea what it was about. And I had one foot in compassion for him, one foot in how am I going to leave a baby with him right now, and a third foot in in wanting to go into how this is going to affect me. This is going to take away from me. And I had to just like, whoa, 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 cool your jets there, third foot. This isn't even about me right now. My partner, my life partner, my husband of 10 years is moving through a big sad in this moment. I don't know, I still don't know what it's about, but I turned off temporarily all the parts about me, all the parts about the baby, and I just went and sat with him. And we had a little bit of discussion. I tried not to therapize him, which is challenging for me at times, having done this for so long. I'm your wife, not your coach, not your counselor. But we just sat in authentic presence with the feeling. I may have made some suggestions about like how old were you when this feeling emerged? And he was like, "Oh yeah, really little." He's like, "Yeah, I kind of figured it's been here for a long time." And that was it. And then I had to get up and go and come in here and close the door and leave him with the baby. And there was all kinds of guilt about leaving him, guilt about what if he can't handle, he's about to bring a 14-month-old up for a nap without nursing because, need me for that. And I had to just put it down.
What I try and remind myself of is, what does it change?
Mm-hmm.
Besides changing what it changes in me, what does me feeling guilty change for them right now in this situation? And it was beautiful that you were able to do that.
It's taken a long time to get here. And so and that's not to diminish my accomplishment, but I just want to let everybody know that it's a journey, and wherever anybody is at on that journey, whether you're just discovering it's a possibility or whether you're like, yeah, I figured that out 5 years ago and life has never been better because of it, then I celebrate every single step and every single moment that each person is at on the journey. I pulled this a word as part of this discussion, and it's collaborate.
Ah.
And the way that collaborate applies to what I was just talking about is that parenting for most of us, and I acknowledge that there are some people who are very alone in it, and I'm sending all the love, but parenting for most of us is a collaboration, even if it's a collaboration with the babysitter and a collaboration with the neighbor who watches our kids. And none of us really truly have to be alone. There's always support.
My takeaway from your story, Sarah, is that it's not our responsibility to carry everything and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, for some reason we think we're running the whole show, but
For some reason, that's the ancestral bit.
That's right.
That's the part that came through epigenetically in our DNA. And it's like an energetic imprint that our mothers and their mothers and their mothers and their mothers and all of society and culture has been carrying for I don't know how long.
And so to also comment on your statements about wherever we are on our journey, I just wanted to show this pretty little picture here.
Yay!
And we use this. It's a line with a circle, and at the end of the line, then the circle starts to go over that line. So this would be number one hiccup, and then there's a short amount of time before
We spiral. It's a spiral.
It's a spiral, thank you. And then there's a short amount of time before the same situation would happen again, but when we think that nothing is changing, we have changed. So there is difference. There's time that occurred and there's learning. So then we have this hiccup and we might not have responded differently, but there is thought and processing. So then the circle gets bigger. So there's a longer period of time before the same hiccup happens again. So this indicates that we are moving along the line and that we are progressing, because sometimes we get this idea that I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. And with some tools like intention and the phrases and any other tools that you have in your toolbox, it helps us realize we are moving along the path. And as we respond differently, we have that visible evidence, as I mentioned earlier.
One of my favorite ways to work with that spiral is to, if I'm hitting the same thing again, to celebrate, because it means I'm leveling up. And it doesn't mean that I didn't do the work last time or it didn't work. it means that I'm coming to the next level and deepening my mastery.
And it's giving us an opportunity to try on that same situation and see how we're going to respond this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. The up level.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. I love that spiral. I know that spiral intimately.
Yeah. Wow. I had another piece.
So the collaborate, do we want to go back and do something with about the collaborate, or is that complete? I just want to add also that even if you are single mama-ing or single dadding, you still need to collaborate with the other partner, your co-parenting. So I just wanted to, and at a more, like, this society doesn't usually include other, generations, but there is like the group and families that are all parenting together. So we do need to collaborate because so many different people offer so many different things to my child. And so I cannot be the all and the everything. So someone who might be more introverted can also teach my daughter amazing things because I tend to be the extrovert. So I love that I realized early that there's all these people to help her learn all these different ways of how she wants to be.
Mm-hmm. With the collaboration piece, I'm thinking about the amount of time that my son spends at my mom's now. And that not everything that goes on there happens the way I would have done it. And there's a really big piece of me having to put down control or the belief that everything needs to happen the way I would have done it. But that's that perfectionism again, right? That and the control piece, I'm learning to think of myself more as a guide than a manager. And that feels so much better. And I never thought of myself as a manager, but that's what was coming through energetically and in my operating system of I have to manage this and I have to manage this and I have to manage this and it's all blah blah blah. No. I can guide the energy of things. And if I see something going on at my mom's house, like my kids have a lot more access to more screens there than they would here and more ways that they're utilizing those screens. And my son, who's 9, is playing Minecraft and he's played Minecraft here, but there he gets to play in multiplayer servers and here he doesn't. I could freak out about that. Go, I don't allow multiplayer. Or I can just say, here's all of the things that we need to be watching out for. Here's all of and each of these different multiplayer servers um, are, they have different reasons for being. Like on one of them, he does Minecraft parkour, where his character's just like running and jumping and swinging and all of these things. That's easy for him to step out of when his 30 minutes is done. But he was in this other one called CubeCraft, where he freaked out when it was time for his time to be done. Now, at my house, I tend to just avoid all of those types of places. And if he freaks out when we turn it off, then we just don't play that one. My mom actually has the time to sit down with him and be like, let's talk about why it was harder for you to leave CubeCraft than it was for you to leave parkour. Right? Let's talk about what's going on within the structure of how the game is built. And what it is it's teams. You end up on a team and then you and the team are building something together, and when it's time for you to leave, the team's going to finish without you. Well, that doesn't work for his brain. He can't leave a situation unfinished. He sometimes can't leave a conversation if he hasn't said the thing he needs to say, and he can't leave a game. I just realized how much I'm using the word can't, and I want to shift that. But his brain is challenged to leave a board game, even if he didn't get to make the move he wanted to make. And we've even encountered a situation in the past where he was so attached to a certain move happening that when the game started going a different direction, he couldn't pivot. And he actually had the self-awareness to say, what if we just go this way, the way I needed to go? Because my brain's having a hard time letting it go. But then after I do that move, we can rewind and follow the actual trajectory of the game. And I was like, oh, you're a genius. Let's do that. And because he was like, my brain just can't let this go. So can we just, and so we did. But that piece of his brain that has a hard time letting go of a certain outcome is the reason he couldn't leave CubeCraft. And at my house, I would have just said, then we don't play CubeCraft. But at my mom's house, she's able to tease through all of this, and she's having conversations with ChatGPT to help her understand what's going on within the structure of the game. So she doesn't need to play the game to know how it works. And so there's actually all of this really important integral work that's going to set him up for support and give him scaffolding to move through the world that actually I wouldn't have been doing. Because I just would have been like, we don't play that game. Because I have so many hats I'm wearing. But when he's at her house, she's just grandma.
Beautiful.
So that I had a choice. I could have said no more, or I could have allowed it to bloom and just offered a guiding principle. And that's, again, what I managed to do. Now, a year ago, I might not have been so successful, but a year ago, he was also only 8. And the difference for him between 8 and 9 has been astronomical for his development and his self-awareness and his impulse control. So collaboration there.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's beautiful and important to recognize your mom, yourself, and your beautiful little guy who said, my brain's having a hard time with this. I don't know, like in my generation, when I was a kid, nobody talked about their brain having any hard time with anything. So like as we build awareness in ourselves as people, humans, then it's helping our children to build awareness. And that's where you can find the calm, because this world is busy and chaotic, and we will only find calm and peace inside of ourselves. And
yeah,
truth.
It's amazing to me the things that come out of my kids' mouths that I'm super proud of, because I know that it's from the work that, I've done, from the work that my partner and I have talked, like I say work, but I mean the processes that we've learned, the things that we've learned about. I don't always think that work is a bad thing. Just some people view it.
It's individual to the person. If they're operating from a core belief that work is grueling and tough and feels heavy, then that's not probably a good word for them. But I enjoy work a lot. I enjoy working in the garden. I enjoy every job I've ever had, I loved being at. So
Yeah. And I feel like you've expressed this as well, Leanne, with your daughter and the things that she's brought to light for you as well. I remember you talking about that as well. So,
And you were talking about how beautiful it is to hear the things your children are saying. So tell me more about that.
oh, it's just amazing some of the things that the awarenesses, I guess, that they have. My daughter will be in a situation and she'll be upset, and as parents, we're upset, and she'll say, I need to step away right now because I'm going to explode if I don't, right? Like, hey,
Oh, wow.
cool.
Wow. And how old is she?
She is 9.
Oh my God. I'm so
Yeah,
happy for you. Like, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for her. It's beautiful. That's a
it is
beautiful
beautiful.
energy. That's a beautiful energy vibe going out into the world.
It is. It is.
I have a cute one with my 6-year-old who I think we hadn't quite started recording yet when I said lately she's been a walking impulse. Um, and I say that because she named it. We were baking and I turned around and her whole hand was deep in the sugar jar. And just total knee jerk out of me. I just like sort of hollered her name, like, what are you doing? And she suddenly looked at me, looked at her hand, pulled her hand out, and I could see all this shame and guilt and everything setting in, which I was not my intention. And but at the same time, it's like, whoa, get your hand out of the sugar bowl. And she just goes, Mom, don't you think maybe I'm just having a hard time with impulse control? And she throws the lid down and she runs away. I was like, well, that's a really good awareness. And nothing else needed to be said except it's okay. We're going to learn how to get through that together.
My kids will call me out on it as well. When those things happen with me and I have a hard time with impulse control.
Well, yeah, there's definitely she comes by it naturally. And that's what I tell my kids too, as they're learning about their own impulse control. I let them know there are so many adults in the world who have a really hard time with it. And then we do have conversations about, like, when you're reaching for this, what is it that you're trying to fill? Can you come to an awareness of that? And if you can't, that's okay. But is it that I felt uncomfortable, or is it just that I see sugar and I want it in my face? Like, and because I know when I'm reaching for extra chocolate, it's because there's like a low-lying discomfort in my body. I love dark chocolate. I have it regularly, but usually if everything's pretty good in my life and I'm moving through without a lot of challenges or difficulty, then I'll have like one little square after breakfast and one little square after dinner, and I don't reach for it the rest of the day. It's one of my tells actually that I'm starting to have more going on in my life than I'm handling okay, is that I start reaching for the chocolate all the time. So I have these discussions with the kids of like, hey, if you're feeling yourself reaching, is there discomfort in your body? Are you trying to fix something? Are you trying to feel better by reaching for this? Or is it just that it's in front of you and sugar's addictive? And so, yeah, hello, kitty. So yeah, I think the more we have conversations about just awareness of all of these different layered pieces and trust their ability to understand it at some level, then the more they'll be able to move through the world with awareness.
Beautifully said. I love that. I was distracted by a cat.
That's okay. Well, I feel like we've covered some really beautiful ground here today.
Yes, I think so too. Thank you everyone for listening to us today. And like, our intention is always that this helps with awarenesses for you. This helps you feel a higher vibration as well. I know it definitely does that for me. And I think I can speak for the other two as well. So thank you very much, and we'll chat next time. Thank you so much for joining us today on Mothering Unedited. We are so grateful to have you here with us and are excited to connect with you in whatever way works for you, whether that's through one-on-one coaching or exploring the other works we have created and continue to offer to mothers, parents, and the world. Follow us on Instagram at mothering_unedited. To find out more or connect further with any of us, you'll find Sarah at soul-birth.ca, soul-birth.ca, Leanne at coachingwithleanne.org, coachingwithleanne.org, and Carmen at carmenwist.com. carmenwiste.com. carmenwiste.com. Until next time, may you find your brave to share your unedited authenticity and honor yourself through the mess and the magic of motherhood.